Well, at this speech in Michigan, Trump has really reveled in the all but unchecked power that he's used over the last 3 months, using multiple false statements along the way. Trump touted his achievements on immigration, the economy, and more. Trump said he had reduced immigration by 99.999%, and that's just 3 people across the border. It should be said it's unclear what he meant by that. There was a record low in March. There's just over 11,000 crossings. So historic lows, but his approval rating has also fallen to historic lows along the way as well, especially on the topic of immigration, where you may think that was one of his best topics, and indeed in terms of polling it was, but even that has suffered a drop, mainly due to the sweeping deportation programs, the way that he's carried them out, which have seen various people sent to high security prisons in El Salvador and other locations without due process. Various American citizens also having been caught up in the deportations, including a 4-year-old U.S. citizen who had stage 4 cancer. He was deported along with his undocumented mother before his case could reach a court. So that has been one area where he's been somewhat unpopular in those approval ratings. But Donald Trump, nevertheless, defiant in this speech. He railed against Democrats, calling them unorganized. He called some of them lunatics. He also railed against the idea that Democrats may try to impeach him. He said, "We're taking back our country from a sick political class that got rich selling its house and bleeding America dry." Now, one of the other areas which Donald Trump has not been so popular on is the slashing of the federal government. But he also spoke about that in Michigan, saying after a lifetime of unelected bureaucrats stealing your paychecks, attacking your values and trampling your freedoms, we are stopping their gravy train, ending their power trip, and telling thousands of corrupt, incompetent, and unnecessary deep state bureaucrats, "You're fired." That got a very rapturous applause from the crowd. He also aired his grievances once again, lashing out at Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, receiving rapturous applause from that as well. And he also equated the deportations that I spoke about before to the trials that he suffered, his own legal cases and impeachment. He said they're claiming that we're not allowed to deport illegals, and they're the ones who orchestrated an 8-year campaign to jail their political opponents. So Donald Trump defiant at this 100-day mark, despite the fact that the opinion polls, which he says are fake, show that he's at a record low.
Now, as we mentioned, this 100-day milestone is a key measure for US presidents. So why would he choose Michigan as the location for this huge rally?
Well, Michigan really for Donald Trump is a symbolic choice. Now, cast your minds back to the end of his political campaign the first time around in 2016. He held his final rally on the very early hours of Election Day in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where he said, "Today, the American working class is going to strike back finally." He then won Michigan, which many were not expecting. He won by just over 10,000 votes. And Republicans in that state really believe that that rally, coupled with the election outcome, explains why Michigan looms so large in Donald Trump's political law, really. Basically, he believes that something special is possible and happens in Michigan, and that the votes that he picks up there are non-traditional voters for the Republicans. So he has an increased share with white voters, black voters, and of course, even Arab American voters who moved significantly to him or just didn't vote at all in the most recent election because of the way that the Joe Biden administration handled the situation in Gaza and Israel. So Donald Trump has a bit of an affinity for Michigan, and it's somewhere that he thinks that it really represents the MAGA voter. One person that we've spoken to said, "I really think Michigan is the avatar for the MAGA voter, whether it's the white working class or the black working class." So Donald Trump believes this represent something bigger for his movement, and that's why he is back there today to celebrate the 100 days of his administration and the achievements that he believes he has achieved, despite the fact that some of his tariffs that have come in, which of course have also been unpopular and have shaken not only the US economy, but also the global economy. A lot of the tariffs that he's brought in, including those auto tariffs, are biting significantly in that car manufacturing state.